Thank you very much, Andrew. So yeah, I did want to be a skateboarder, but I was nowhere near good enough. Before I get into it, this is my grade 9 photo. I know it looks more like grade 4. Can anyone in the room guess where I went to high school? It was here in Victoria. St. Andrews. Give it up for St. Andrews. My teacher is actually right there, Miss Goldsack. She remembers me. I was a star in her typing class. So I want to tell you why St. Andrews has a very special place in my heart, and that is because that is where I met my wife. We are high school sweethearts. So before I get into my presentation, take a look to your left, take a look to your right. You might be looking at the one. You didn't know that I would be your matchmaker today, but I am. So as Andrew said, I am the general manager of Rebase. Okay, guys, come on. You can deal with that later. I am the general manager of Rebase, which is a portfolio company at Redbrick. At Rebase, we build browsers. So if you can think about Chrome or Firefox, IE, Edge, Safari, whatever you use, we build products similar to that with a variety of different features to enrich the user browsing experience. My job as general manager is to assist in user acquisition and distribution and marketing, revenue generation with our search feed partners, the product itself, managing the team, and kind of worrying about overall profitability of the business unit. But as Andrew mentioned, post-grad, I actually was in the painting industry. If you can remember those student painting companies that have maybe painted your home, I ran those throughout university for 3 years and then across Western Canada for 2 years. And when I first kind of started thinking about tech, the question of what's tech was really quite intimidating for me as a business person. So today, I'm just here to get you excited about what's tech, about some examples of what's tech, about why you might want to work in tech, and then who can work in tech. So what's tech? Super intimidating for a non-technical person. I was really kind of worried, could I, with business development skills or sales skills, could I make a difference in tech? And turns out I was able to do that. So what's tech? You might be thinking apps, websites, virtual reality, software, e-commerce, but the BC tech sector was broken up into these 5 categories last year by KPMG with their report card on the BC tech sector, which we did get a very high grade. So information and communication technology, interactive and digital media, life sciences, clean tech, and IT and engineering services are kind of the formal 5 categories. But I've got 3 examples for you that I think are fun to discuss for what's tech. The first, is she cute? This is my new baby girl. This is Anaya. She is now 3 months, but this was, I guess, 2.5 months ago. My wife took this photo using her own filters and all that and did that. So pretty cool with tech. She was able to take pretty professional photos. But everyone look at her lips. Is that duck lips? I think she's pretty much already at 3 months ready for Instagram. But what I want to tell you about Anaya and her arrival and my wife and I's journey in the 9 months leading to her arrival is we used an app that absolutely made it much easier to become new parents. And that was called The Bump. Has anyone heard of The Bump? Yeah, you guys shouldn't know that? Yeah, never mind. So The Bump is an application that both my wife and I downloaded, and it's essentially a resource that gives you everything you might want to know in terms of content for becoming a new parent. There's expert articles, there's videos, there's community forums, and all of the content is revolving around to-dos to get ready to become new parents, maybe some videos on how to change a diaper and all that good stuff. There's stuff around the symptoms that maybe, in this case, my wife might be experiencing, and are they normal or are they not? What can she eat? What can she not eat? And there was even trackers. We could each put the due date of Anaya into our app and then say, hey, at this point in the 9-month pregnancy, where's Anaya at? What should be growing in terms of her development? And it was super cool because we could check on any given day, how big is she? How long is she? How wide is she? What's growing? And at one point, the Bump app told us that Anaya was the length of 5 Big Macs. I don't know how you do that, stacked, I guess. But the bump was a super cool way of tech helping Myra and I become new parents. So my question to you would be, do you want to work for a tech company that helps new parents navigate becoming new parents? Because we were super thankful for it. My next example is Netflix, and I've got a poll for that, please. Have you ever physically rented a movie? Let's see how young you guys really are. Wow, okay. That is quite a bit higher than I thought. Back to the slides, please. So I just want to share that when I was your age, grade 9, 10, in high school, one of our favorite pastimes was meeting up with my friends for a movie. And we'd meet up at, you remember Rogers, Blockbuster? Can you remember doing that? You walk up and down the aisles, you're looking at new releases, maybe they're too expensive, maybe one friend got allowance so you could afford a new release that day, and somebody else is buying the pop, the snacks, whatever. A new release was almost $10. And for how long? A day? 2 days? And then we'd go off to the friends who had the biggest TV, we'd watch it, and somebody would have to return it. So think about that, and now think about what's tech in terms of entertainment and Netflix. For a similar price point, we can all consume all that we want, whenever we want, from whatever device that we want, for, like I said, that kind of $13 a month. Amazing. So my question with Netflix and tech companies like Netflix is, would you like to work for a company that changes the way that we consume entertainment and content? Next example is Apple, or really just your smartphone in general. And I've got a poll for this one too, please. Oop. How old were you when you got your first smartphone? So this happened last year as well. Whoever said D is lying, because you shouldn't have a smartphone in your hand. So 12 to 16 is the winner. Interesting. For me, it was actually first year university is when I got my first smartphone. Back to the slides, please. But to talk about this guy here, whether you could be working with the hardware itself or the software, the operating system, iOS, Android, or the apps that we install and interact with, this phone has changed all of us in terms of how we live our daily lives. So I don't know what your favorite apps are. Maybe shout out a few. What's the app you use most each day? Okay, I heard none of that, but it's a variety. So think about your banking, think about your work, think about your gaming, your social media. This phone has changed the way you live. So my question with Apple or any phone company making smartphones is, do you want to get involved in that, and do you want to change the way that we live our daily lives? Now I want to talk a bit about why tech, why all of you in this room, 350 of you, might be interested in working in tech for tech companies in Victoria or elsewhere. So top left there represents the ability to build something amazing. Okay, so startups, the definition is you're kind of taking something from the idea stage when nothing's built to fruition, where you can stand back and say, wow, I built that app, we built that website, we built that software, and holy smokes, look at people interact with it. Super, super cool to solve problems with tech by building things. In the middle represents travel, and there's two components to this. I mentioned I was running painting companies, and when I was running painting companies in Victoria, I might be lucky to get to Duncan. I might be lucky to get to Salt Spring for a project, maybe out to Mochosin. But with Redbrick, I've traveled to Israel, to Jaipur, India, to Czech Republic, Germany, Spain, all over the United States, to Google's headquarters at Mountain View. It is a there's a very big opportunity in tech to be able to travel the world. And then the next one with that is also work remote. Would anyone in the room like to work remote, maybe, or do a stint abroad and work remote? Yeah. So with tech, you kind of need your laptop, maybe a couple monitors, and the internet. You have the ability to work remote, which is phenomenal. And I did that as well in Spain for 14 months 3 years ago at Redbrick. They trusted me enough to do that. The next emoji there is Scale. So can everyone picture when you drive out to the ferries, can you picture all those billboards up on the side of the highway? And I think it's Pattison maybe selling that space. So in that scenario, Pattison might say, hey guys, this is how many eyeballs or cars or passerbys that you'll see, that we'll see your ads. But the companies buying that ad space might have a tough time to actually correlate business from that placement. Whereas if you're buying traffic from Google or Facebook or Bing or a variety of traffic sources on the internet, those ad platforms could tell you how many clicks occurred, how many impressions occurred, how many of the conversion events that you want occurred, whether that's sales or signups or installs. So it's amazing with tech to be able to track the performance not only of ad campaigns, but of your website, but of your applications, and of your software to see what's going on. The bottom there, the world, represents scale. Again, with painting, I could only paint as many houses as I could find in Victoria in one summer. With the browser product that I work on, we've got way more than 1 million daily active users all over the world that every minute of every day, somebody's clicking on an ad on the SERP page in my browser, making Rebase at Redbrick money. So scale with tech is infinite and a huge advantage for why you might want to work in tech. The middle one there means money, if you didn't get that from the emoji. Money should never be the only reason you do something, but it sure helps. And I'll share a stat from that KPMG BC tech sector report card. Last year, average wage for a tech worker in BC was $80,000, okay? Average wage for a non-tech worker in BC was $44,000. So it's not quite a double, but it's 84% more to work in tech. So how amazing is that? Money is a very important reason that you might be interested in working in tech. And then the last one's a bit cliche, but like at Redbrick, a lot of companies have ping pong or they might have foosball, but the point is you can have a whole lot of fun working in tech. We've got amazing culture that you won't find outside of tech at many companies. So to prove that, I'm showing you a 1.5-minute video of an event that Redbrick recently presented called Battle Pong. How does that look for an event in tech? No? Wow. Pretty cool, I think. Out of the 17 companies that participated in year one of Battle Pong, 15 were tech. And just for your curiosity's sake, the winner came from Kano Apps, a gaming studio. Second place was Attila from Schneider Electric. And third place was a guy from A Books. So it was an amazing tech event to kind of show, hey, what we're all about, raise some money for charity at the same time, and create some camaraderie and competition for next year. So an amazing way to see what that kind of ping pong and fun and culture represents. So who can work in tech? And I've got a poll for this as well. All right, it was a trick question. Back to the slides. Absolutely Everyone can work in tech, all 350 of you. And again, take it from me, I was so intimidated to get into tech. But tech, like any industry, needs people in human resources, needs people in marketing, in sales, in graphic design, in finance, absolutely everything. And then, of course, it is of utmost importance that we have programmers and engineers and developers and coders, but we need everybody. And it's amazing because you can get all those skills now or post-grad at universities like Camosun and UVic and boot camps like Lighthouse Labs. So start to think now about what you'd like to do in tech and then kind of justify your education accordingly. So the other beautiful thing, and Andrew mentioned this a bit at the beginning, ViaTech is kind of a membership organization for tech companies in Victoria, and it does an amazing job of bringing us all together and bringing up the tech economy in Victoria. And just kind of scan those stats there, because they're similar to what Andrew was mentioning. But what I'll say about this is when I graduated from business school here at UVic in 2011, all of my fellow graduates were leaving Victoria. They were going to Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver. There just wasn't much going on in Victoria unless you wanted to do government or tourism. Now, I guarantee you, when you're done in a couple of years, the Victoria tech sector will be arms open waiting for you guys to come and work for tech, no matter what avenue you do that in. So super, super exciting to have that option. So what's next? What does the future hold in terms of technology, and what are you going to do about it? I'm not going to answer this. I'm going to answer it with, you tell me. Thank you very much.